this webinar, and indeed on an important topic, the development of the further intraday markets, and indeed also a further step into European market integration. I will today focus a bit on the background, maybe the history, but indeed also the current state of play and the urgent need for further developing the intraday market. Maybe it's important to say that even for myself, I joined this work on electricity markets in 2007, quite some time ago. And even back then, intraday markets were on the agenda, and integrating them and the design underlying the current setup we have was indeed discussed then. But also already then, the question of how to price cross-zonal capacity, how to efficiently allocate cross-zonal capacity was part of the debate. And I think the intraday auction, the EU Intraday Auctions are indeed the execution of that discussion, which indeed already happened quite some years ago. And I can imagine that that maybe for market participants in these ages, well, this may come as a surprise, but actually the development has indeed started quite a while ago. I will first go. Let me go to my next slide. I will first go a bit into what's the current state of play, what are we looking at in the European electricity markets, and indeed what is the reason why intraday trading and markets are so important. If we look at the current developments on the development of renewable energy generation, intermittent generation in the EU, we can see that over the last years, the share of power generation from solar and wind, known as indeed intermittent resources, has been gradually increasing. And indeed, in 2022, the amount of electricity generated by wind and solar overtook the amount generated by gas turbines. And indeed, also the same view if you look at the year-on-year change of solar electricity generation. Also there, it's clear that indeed in the recent years, solar has indeed picked up. And indeed, as we all know, solar is an intermittent resource. It can vary quite between hour and hour and 50 minutes and 50 minutes. And this change in availability of generation indeed is also the background behind allowing and further enforcing well, the intraday trade closer to real time. In the last year, of course, we had the energy crisis, but still the European market integration has taken some significant and decisive steps, mainly on the day-ahead and intraday markets, where both for the day-ahead auction and the intraday continuous trade part, Europe is now being fully covered, and indeed looking also at extending into to more non-EU countries. In 2022, flow-based market coupling was introduced, ensuring more and efficient use of cross-zonal capacity in the core region, meaning the central part of Europe. And also for the more shorter timeframes, also balancing platforms were designed and are indeed gradually increasing in Europe, although still significant steps on that have to be taken. The real challenge in all of this, or the background behind all of this, is in the end to make sure that markets are able to use cross-zonal capacity, so exchange capacity between bidding zones in Europe, between countries in Europe, in the most efficient way. So allocate them towards the trades that deliver the highest welfare benefits, either indeed between two adjoining countries, but indeed also possible between countries that are much further away. This last part is mainly what flow-based does, but indeed implicit auctions, as we use them in single day-ahead coupling, are indeed mainly there for cross-zonal capacity to be efficiently allocated, to those that value it the most, because indeed we see that would lead to the most efficient outcome for the end consumer and in the end to the lowest cost of electricity for those consumers. In recent years, as said, a quick pickup of wind and solar in countries across Europe, but those developments, of course, also give are seen or give impact to what market prices are doing. On the right here, you can see some incidents in the recent years where prices hit the price limit, the negative price limit, because indeed the incentives were not there for market participants, and in this case mainly, I'm from the Netherlands, so I know I have the solar panels as well, not responding to any market prices in terms of behavior on demand or indeed on disconnecting generation, and that indeed leading to the lower side of the price limit being reached. This, of course, shows that there is clear benefit in further trading, a more efficient allocation, and need by that also more efficient market outcomes, mainly focused on demand response. But indeed, the fact that the renewable energy is so volatile in short time frames, indeed also improving the intraday market. And indeed, also those flexibility needs, we see them becoming more and more important. The need for flexibility, supply and demand, and supply being more intermittent and available due to wind and solar, but indeed also demand responding to it, makes it more and more important that cross-zonal capacity is used and made available to trade between different countries. And indeed, that also brings us to the 70% capacity on cross-zonal capacity being available, made available. Of course, there's requirements of TSOs to do this. NEMOs are then the ones that efficiently allocate those capacities, and we do see that those levels of capacity are still far from being reached. Then if I focus on intraday, so the intraday time frame, of course, is part of the electricity market as a whole, ranging from very long term ahead, 3-4 years, going to the day ahead market where the electricity generation and demand is cleared for the next day, and then indeed subsequently into the intraday market. So in my speech, I will indeed, of course, as the webinar is about that, focus on the intraday market. The intraday market is currently organized as a continuous market. This means that any buy or sell between any market participant can be cleared, can be struck on a continuous basis. There's no need to wait, but there is also this also comes as a consequence that also the allocation of cross-zonal capacity happens in a continuous way, and also in a first come first serve way. So those that trade the first, they get cross-zonal capacity. Those that might come later and want to trade might miss out on an opportunity. And in general, this is understood as being a less efficient. It is very quick, but it is a less efficient way of allocating cross-zonal capacity, because it's unclear whether the trade that has been given the cross-zonal capacity would in the end be the most efficient one to clear for society. And this is why already the CACM regulation that governs these markets indicated that there should in time be a development of a capacity pricing methodology. And in the end, ACER decided in 2019 and 2020 that the pricing mechanism would be the same as in the day-ahead market, and that indeed in the intraday market, intraday auctions would be introduced. And those intraday auctions then leading to a more efficient allocation, joining of liquidity at a certain point in time. I will show this later. And by that, making sure that prices and use of cross-zonal capacity is indeed aligned. In our recent, and I go to the, well, just a moment. In our recent market monitoring reports, we've always shown what the efficient use of cross-zonal capacity is on the intraday level. And even though continuous trade has expanded all across Europe, the use of cross-zonal capacity, or the efficient use of cross-zonal capacity, has not reached 100%. It is still around 50 or 60% because we see that in the end, continuous trade is not leading to efficient use. If we then look at what is the setup of this short-term market, I think it's important to indicate that, of course, we all know the day-ahead market, and it's clearing at 12 o'clock on D-1. This leads to dispatch to trades and to forecasted generation and demand for the next day. The intraday market is much more constrained in terms of time. The intraday market opens generally at 3 o'clock at D-1, but there is all sorts of subsequent steps market participants need to take into dispatch of units. Indeed, further trade, further forecasting. TSOs need to calculate cross-zonal capacity. Subsequently, market clearings need to happen. And in this time, so D-1, 3 o'clock, of course, 9 hours later, the actual day starts. And indeed, further, the intraday session indeed opens. And all this time, trade happens on one side, while on the other side, TSOs are almost in real time, making sure that the network does not overload and operational security is ensured. And this is what I wanted to show here. So after this day-ahead market, there is a start of leftover capacity. So anything used not used in the day-ahead market is given to the intraday market. But subsequently, TSOs get into calculating intraday capacity based on the real input from the day-ahead market. And subsequently, these capacities are being offered towards the intraday auctions. Parallel processes for so-called regional operational security coordination and ROSC processes. This is how TSOs make sure that real-time operation is indeed not endangered. Those capacities that are calculated are then subsequently brought to intraday auctions. You can see it here a bit. So at D-1 at 12 o'clock, there's a day-ahead market coupling. Then at 3 o'clock, the current setup is the first intraday auction using the leftovers of cross-zonal capacity available after day-ahead. Subsequently, opening of continuous trading until 10 o'clock in the evening when the second intraday auction is being organized, again, for all hours of the next day, but then indeed for the first time with a recalculation of cross-zonal capacity. So additional availabilities of cross-zonal capacity. Then subsequently trading, indeed, continuous trading is again opened for the remaining days of day D. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, there's a third intraday auction, which then only covers the period of 12 to 24 hours of the current day at that point in time, after which indeed continuous trading continues until the end of the day. These intraday auctions are organized by stopping continuous trade for a very limited amount of time. So for 40 minutes, continuous trade will be stopped. There's a definition of the gate closure time, and there's publication of cross-zonal capacities to market participants, and indeed the clearing and execution and final validation, after which continuous trade recontinues. So basically, intraday auction only stops continuous trading for around 40 minutes. What is next? So, of course, next is that demos and TSOs are now introducing intraday auctions across Europe. This basically means that, like SDAC in day ahead, there will be those subsequent intraday auctions across Europe. But still, there is indeed next steps to take, because the current setup does not use flow-based capacity calculation. Although calculation is done in a flow-based way, the allocation in intraday is not done on a flow-based manner. This is also because the continuous trade is not able to deal with flow-based parameters, and so in a few years also flow-based should be used for both continuous and intraday in both core and Nordic regions. So that was it from my side. I again thank HUPX and Volue for organizing this meeting, and happy to take any questions or discussions in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this insightful overview of the intraday trading. And now I give the floor to György Istvánffy, Director of HUPX Markets.
Everyone, okay, just the usual technical stuff that happens these times when we are on the conf call. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. It's very nice to see that so many of you are interested in the intraday auctions market. It's almost 200 participants, so that's very nice. What I'm going to do today is that I'm going to talk about the environment where the intraday market, in the intraday auctions market, will enter. A bit of the fundamentals, what are behind the current market trends. Then a couple of words about what we are about to do on the markets, what we are going to introduce, new opportunities for you. And finally, I'm going to talk a bit about the key features of the intraday auctions, what we are expecting from that. So let's see the environment. So we had a very nice last year on the HUPX spot markets. You see that actually almost 33 terawatt hours were traded altogether on the two markets of HUPX. The day ahead was a bit more than 26 terawatt hours, and actually with a nice increase, the intraday market happened to be almost 7 terawatt hours last year. That is actually a very nice increase, but not only the volumes increased a lot, but also the number of members who are active on our markets increased quite significantly last year. So now on the day ahead market, it's like 76 members, but on the intraday market, it's 60 members already. So that's a quite huge increase from a year before. But what happened on the market itself? So what about the liquidities? These graphs are showing you what happened on the market in the last years. Actually, we are quite happy with the total increase of the volumes. You see that basically every year we see increase in the total traded volumes on the HUPX markets, but there is a bit of a change in the trends in the last years that we see. Actually, you know, the day-ahead market was increasing quite steadily until 2020 or 2021, but then there was a bit of a shift towards the intraday market. Now, actually, when we started the intraday market, working on the intraday market, we did a benchmark what we should expect from this market, and we found that a usual amount of 5% of traded volumes are going towards the intraday market. If at that time, so it was like 2015. At that time, this was the normal ratio. Now, what we see is that last year it was roughly 25% of the day-ahead volumes or total traded volumes that went to the intraday market. So that's a completely different environment that we are facing now, and this means that well, there is a liquid, quite stable day-ahead market and the hugely increasing intraday market. But what is in the background of this? It was already introduced by Mathieu that there is a significant change in the generation mix that that we see on the market. Of course, well, it's not a big surprise if I mention that, but there is a huge increase in the intermittent generation capacities. So in case of Hungary, it's more the photovoltaics that are important in this sense. We have roughly 5 or somewhere between 5 and 6 gigawatts of increased installed capacities in the photovoltaics now in Hungary, but we are expecting it to be at around the level of 10 gigawatts by the end of the decade. If you compare it with the peak consumption, it's like 1.5 times the peak consumption. So it's a huge number of installed capacities that we are expecting on the market, and this kind of renewable capacities are definitely requiring and are using the intraday trading opportunities. They do need this to make their generation traded on the market. Of course, what makes it possible, it makes it possible to have these nice liquidities is the market coupling that we have been working on since more than, well, if we are talking about HUPX, since more than a decade now, but even more if we are talking about the EU as a whole. So both DAOD and the intraday markets are coupled now. This is very important for being able to show you these nice liquidity numbers. If we are going forward a bit and check the intraday market activity, what we see is that the number of activities on the market on daily basis, it's increasing hugely. So now what we see is that the average number of order activities on our intraday market is like 50,000 activities a day. That is, well, a huge increase. We are like 2-3 times increasing the contracted capacity of our service provider for the trading screen every year. So this is something that is influencing our work quite hugely nowadays, and this is something that that is impossible without the algorithmic trading. That is quite a trend on the market nowadays. And what is very important if we are talking about the algorithmic trading is that the entry barriers of having an algorithmic trading capability on a trading company is getting lower and lower. So it's easier and easier to be involved in algorithmic trading. It's not like an exotic thing nowadays, but quite average. What we have in mind as development opportunities for the intraday and day-ahead markets in the upcoming, it's a bit more than in the upcoming year, is one important thing is that we do have, of course, API connectivity on the intraday continuous market now. This is what makes it possible to have algorithmic trading on the intraday continuous market that I mentioned before. But we are also going to introduce the IDA market with this API connectivity option. We believe that this is a very important thing to make it possible to handle these different market segments as smooth as possible. But not only the IDA will include the API connectivity option, but also the day-ahead market will be making this API connectivity possible for our members. This is actually a long required opportunity from our members, and now it seems that we are introducing it in 2024. There will be a new index that is, we do believe that this is quite useful for all the members or all the traders that are active on our markets. This is going to be weighted average volume weighted average price of the last 3 trading hours for each and every product that is available on the continuous trading market, and we do call it ID3 index. This is going to be liquid price index for all quarter hours. And last but not least, we are going to introduce a new opportunity for you that is actually an extension or an improvement on our info vendor package. We are going to make this whole info vendor solution that we are already offering you more flexible, and basically an up-to-date technology will be behind this service of ours. You are going to have API connectivity again, also for this data provision, and it will be nicer and more flexible. And my last page is about the intraday auction itself. I think this is not a new thing, as Mathieu already showed you this kind of information, that there will be these 3 intraday auctions from the launch of the IDA market segment. But what I do think that it's important to mention here is the key features of the IDA that we believe that is very important for the traders during their daily life. So what are these key features? I do believe that this auction-based trading will have some positive effect on the trading activities. Actually, there will be concentrated liquidity at the times of the auctions. So this means that you will have an opportunity to trade in a quite reliable and calculable environment. So there will be a very reliable price snapshot at these auctions. Actually, we can avoid, or you can avoid, the fluctuation of the prices that, of course, part of the intraday continuous trading activity. But also, there will be earlier possibility to trade on a coupled market on the intraday time frame. So this means that, as it was already mentioned, that in case of the first IDA, there will be leftover day-ahead capacities available for trading. So it will already be coupled, but not only the first IDA will be a coupled market, but also the continuous trading market between the first and the second IDAs will be coupled through the leftover day-ahead capacities. So this is something new that is, I do believe that gives you quite a nice opportunity to trade, not from 10 p.m., but much earlier than that. And what I can't stress enough is the API connectivity, which we do believe that this is very important to have the seamless integration of the IDA trading, and of course, in general, the automation of the trading activity can happen with these kind of technologies. So this is what I wanted to tell you today, and I give back the floor with this to Martin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now would be the time to ask our panelists to join our session. But while they are doing this, I would try ask my colleagues to start a small poll and ask you also and involve you to start off our discussion with some questions, if possible. So maybe I hope you are seeing this on the screen, a question. There are 4 possible answers. So I would say let's have a 20 seconds for everybody to make their answers. While you are doing that, I would like to introduce our panelists for today. We invited 2 traders, Lemonia Skouta from Alpiq. Thank you very much for joining. Secondly, Goehlke from Uniper. Thank you. Of course, from our partner for the event and our ISV from Volue, Eivind Graversen is also joining, and of course Mathieu Fransen from ACER, who started our session. I would say let's close the poll, and I am wondering whether we can see the results also. Yes, and luckily for power exchanges, the winning answer is the adding additional liquidity to the market by 39%, but it's not that obvious. So thank you very much, and I would turn to our panelists right now with these answers in mind, and I would just start the discussion with a short question. Shortly, please summarize in 2 or 3 sentences what this new market segment brings to you for your business, and what challenges, opportunities, and risks do you see, just as a warm-up question. And I would say let's start with the traders this time. Maybe Lemonia, if you could start the discussion.
Yes, do you hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Perfect, good. Thanks for having me. So to reply to this question, it is, as you said, the new segments. I think it's something that was discussed between traders, but now it's the time that we see that we are really close to go live. I think all trading companies try to adjust their processes, their strategies, the way they operate to fit to the new intraday auctions. Of course, every auction that is introduced to the market means probably additional liquidity or additional opportunity to create value and revenues out of it. Of course, it depends on the volumes traded, and I think everybody is waiting to see their participation on this. To each one of these auctions, because we speak about 3. So I think there will be opportunities, but yeah, challenges are there for all of us to be prepared from IT side, models that should be, I don't know, ready or retrained to be able to have a proper analysis the first day that we go live, for example. But yeah, I think I would say most of the companies, the workload is mostly on IT side to be really prepared, and also on the traders to have some smart strategies in place.
Thank you. Alex?
Thanks for the invitation and the interesting presentations before. So we at Uniper see the auctions, the upcoming intraday auctions, is largely positive. So we believe that it's an opportunity for the markets to pool liquidity in the intraday, so people can de-risk their positions, in particular from intermittent generation and consumption, and traders with asset flexibility have just another opportunity to offer their flexibility to market participants. And I think that's quite an opportunity for, let's say, all rational traders, portfolio managers. And yeah, let's see where liquidity really goes and if it happens to come there. But overall, these auctions also are quite fair way of, let's say, allocating cross-border capacities amongst the market participants. So unlike the continuous market, which is pay as bid, first come, first serve, here we have one auction where it's, let's say, more fair and less prone for gaming. Yeah, but on the challenger side, it's for us in Uniper, it's and for other traders as well, it's of course quite a complex topic. I mean, the market had very well functioning and steady state continuous trading developed over the last years in Europe with XBIT. And now these auctions come into play. So that's, as you mentioned before, it's an IT endeavor, but it's also about resources. So even with, let's say, even for players with 24/7 operations, it's quite complex to set this all up in terms of processes. So it's not only IT and automation. Yeah, but overall, we're exciting to see what happens. And we hope for a successful implementation in June.
I think many of us agree with that. Thank you. Eivind, what's your 2 or 3 sentences about this new segment?
Yes, Volue is a software provider providing solutions to trade in this landscape. So obviously we see it as an opportunity to support our users to manage through these market changes. And all of these changes, they add some complexity to the trading landscape. But I think this is also the opportunity where we can try to handle this complexity in a good way to lower the threshold to participate. Both in this market and in the continuous intraday. And I would share also the risk and challenge on the resource side, because it's not only this change which is happening in the power markets. So there has been a lot of ongoing market changes from these markets to the balancing markets. So there is a lot which is required to stay on top of this, both for the market participants, but of course also for the software providers.
Thank you. And of course, Mathieu, I would turn to you, but I would also add one more question. And the next question, I think you already touched it in your keynote speech, but we are seeing really getting more and more volatile power markets. How this IDA will help to handle those risks and volatility on the market? What do you expect from your side?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, maybe I will get to your question, sort of what benefit it brings. So maybe on the challenges. So I think we acknowledge and we see that this, of course, asks quite some bit from NEMOs, from market participants in terms of optimization and indeed, well, timelines being shorter and shorter. When I started years ago, the electricity market was something of a week ahead market. And of course, we developed a day ahead market, and now we're really getting into intraday market and actually trading and delivery being at the same time. Of course, that was the policy intention around this development. We saw that renewables and the volatility of markets would ever increase, basically, and I would almost say we're running a bit behind, so we would have expected this development, of course, a bit earlier. But I think we're still, well, nicely timed, I would say. I'm happy that everyone also around this table thinks that this is a good step and something we need to do. Maybe on the challenges, one thing I do see is what I referred to in my presentation is the fact that we, in a large part of Europe, have a flow-based allocation between a lot of bidding zones, and that flow-based allocation, at least in the beginning, not being available for the intraday auctions. So where day ahead is flow-based and prices are flow-based, basically, the intraday auctions will be ATC, and that will show a bit of a different kind of allocation and a different kind of price evolution in the countries related to that. So I think that's definitely a step that needs to be taken as soon as possible. But we do see that is linked to making both continuous trade and intraday auctions into flow-based, because the TSO side is done, so they are doing capacity calculation flow-based. But for the market, there's still an extraction done. So on the volatility, I think apart from the intraday auctions, which of course are an important part to really price cross-zonal capacity in an efficient way, in a correct way. Of course, also the continuous trade up to real time, and indeed gate closures up to real time or close to real time, still is important. So because things are changing up to real time, you want the most possibility of trading up to real time. And for that, indeed, gate closures need to be as late as possible, and trade also between NEMOs inside bidding zone needs to be as possible as long as possible, which I think is also what we communicated before. So I hope that answers a bit your question.
Yes, thank you very much. And I would go again back one more detailed questions as for the next. And I understand that Lemonia and Alex, you are both planning to extend your business to this new market segment. And but what do you see? How this will help you manage your risks, getting to real time, and do you see any preference on between those three auctions, and how those will help your trading and operation? Lemonia, Lemonia maybe.
Yes. So I can just speculate right now. Of course, nothing has gone live, so I can speak with what I expect will happen. So as Alpiq, yes, we plan to participate. Of course, maybe we prioritize, let's say, the countries that we are active in, and also we need to have specific strategies, asset-based or technology-based. So of course, it's different when you trade, for example, a flexible asset or something that you have a clear marginal price, and it's different if you trade around an asset that is just it just has a kind of a risk and exposure, and then, for example, renewables, that yes, you trade them closer to delivery, let's say, because there you have a much clearer view of the forecast and the risk, right? So we try to have strategies, as I said, on the technology side, the country level, and yeah, and see how we can take out most of it. And I think personally that countries that anyway have a lot of liquidity, like for example Germany, I'm curious and really want to see what will really change on that country. I think all these extra auctions will help countries with low liquidity on intraday and will boost them. That's why I say that it's really country specific also for us.
Thank you very much. Alex?
Yes, I don't want to repeat everything Lemonia said, but for us it's a comparable question. So for June, we are focusing on some markets, on some assets, because only time will tell if this really is a market segment that is worth all the efforts. But I think those markets offer, or those new auctions offer, the possibility to people to get rid of their risks or price their risks and say, at a certain price level, I'm willing to close my positions. And on the other hand, for people with flexible generation like us, we're of course hoping that those auctions will allow us to churn our flexibility intraday a bit more. When we think about the different auctions, we already have 15-minute auctions at 1500 in some markets like Germany. So I think this is the primary market where people start to shape their hourly production or their hourly consumption into quarterly shapes. The 10 o'clock auction is an auction where I believe it could be quite interesting for renewables, because they have like a 10-hour better view on their generation of the next day. And it's just another day ahead auction in the end. So the question is, will some renewables producers or portfolio managers maybe prefer the 22 o'clock auction compared to the regular 12 o'clock spot auction in the end, but time will tell. And then the 10 o'clock morning auction, I think that's the most interesting because it will largely disrupt the continuous market in the most liquid and active time of the day. But I believe it will, if liquidity is there, it will provide a quite good price anchor and probably assessment of a fair intraday price to market participants. So yeah, I think the auctions are all quite different in their potential use case and let's say what trader is attracted to which auction. Yeah, but time will tell. We are speculating here.
Thanks. Eivind, what's your and Volue's take on that?
Yeah, it's interesting that all these auctions will be quite different in, I guess, use and purpose. So to add a little bit, we also work with a lot of smaller market participants, and some of them are actually not in the continuous intraday today. So I think that will also be a change. Of course, big players like Uniper and Alpiq, have always been in the continuous intraday. But I think for these smaller market participants, it could be quite interesting to leverage the IDA 2 and 3, because then they are able to trade also closer to delivery, even without participating in the continuous. So that could also increase liquidity and lower the threshold. So I think that's quite interesting. And then I think it will be interesting to see if IDA 1 at all has a purpose in the long term, particularly after the day ahead moves to 15-minute resolution next year.
Thank you. I think I would turn to Mathieu. What's your thoughts on that? What are the liquidity expectations, if you have any, maybe, and how do you see the three different auctions and their roles?
I think I would largely subscribe with what was said before. I think we generally indeed expect liquidity to increase because of the better price signal, the more closer to real time, but indeed also the lower entry barrier for small market participants. So I think that is generally how we also understand this. Continuous trading being quite a big chunk to swallow for small market participants, whereas an auction is indeed in that sense much easier to participate in. So we do indeed see that would lower entry barriers for small market participants, and indeed allow them to trade closer to real time and need to have a better visibility on actual price signals. I also think that indeed the 10 o'clock in the morning, good to hear that you indeed consider that to be like properly timed for the rest of the day, sort of say, and that would indeed provide a good, like a restart of the rest of the day, so to say. So I indeed also expect that will definitely help and improve price formation in the intraday time frame.
Thank you very much. And to be honest, our time is quite limited, so I would ask our panelists to say their last thoughts. And my question and question would be that what are your thoughts? How a successful IDA market would look like, and what are your main issues, maybe operational challenges to tackle until June, mid of June? Thank you. And I would suggest to start with a similar order, and please, Lemonia, if it's okay for you to start.
Yes. I think more or less I replied to this in the beginning, but I can just say it again. The big hustle now for us is on the IT side to be prepared for that. Set up our APIs in all the markets that we are active, with all the Nemos that we are active, let's say, and of course, be well prepared. And I think in all companies, maybe more on the bigger ones, to really redefine what is the workforce needed. Now we speak about an extra auction at 10 o'clock at night that normally people, it's out of work, of office hours, right? So probably you will need people there, traders, to actively manage it. So it's really, it's a big change that you have to rethink of all your organization and structure on intraday activities. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Alex.
I can echo the part on the people side, that you can automate a lot, but these auctions are so heavy, or can be such a big thing in terms of trading and volumes, that you certainly have traders at the desk that need to manage it. Yeah, and we are still in the middle of the project. It's a big project, so it keeps us busy. But yeah, nothing more to add, really.
Okay, thanks. Eivind?
Yes, I would say that for us it's important to ensure that we can manage a smooth process out of this and to automate it as much as possible. So also thinking about how to transition from the continuous intraday. So transition your position from continuous to the IDA auction and going back again, trading continuous around the gate closure. That's I think a big focus. And it's interesting the comment on the people aspect. I think that's important, but I would also think that the volumes are quite smaller than compared to day ahead, so that perhaps some would be able to automate the transition back and forth between these two markets.
Thank you. And last but not least, Mathieu, and if I can add, what's your message to the market also?
Yeah, thanks. No, so bit of historical reflection on this. Of course, we sort of when we designed this years ago, we already realized that by the time we would get there, the world would look much different. And I think that's exactly what we're experiencing now. The nature of the product electricity is, it is traded up to real time. And yeah, real time can be middle of the night, and if you're in this business, that indeed can mean that there's some unfortunate times where trading needs to be done. I think it's not only true for traders; it's also true for the TSOs, who indeed have similar processes in place to allow all this run through the night. Basically, power plants run through the night. So it's all indeed also a question of automation, which I think is more and more coming into view, basically, not only for traders, not only for the professional market participants, but also more and more for consumers and small and medium enterprises who are with dynamic prices, dynamic tariffs, demand response mechanisms, all starting to be affected by these markets. Yeah, it's what was intended is what we see as necessary to move into a renewable energy system with all the volatile energy that is around, to use it when it's available. But indeed, you do not want to get up at night to turn on or off your electric vehicle or whatever you have. So indeed, automation definitely key in this.
Thank you very much, and thank you. We would have a short time for Q&A. To be honest, I scrolled down the questions. Two of them, I'm sure will be answered at the second part of the session. But one question, if any of you might add to that, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you see a risk for more speculative price arbitrage between day ahead and intraday once the IDA is launched? I don't want to force this question to any of you. It's quite an interesting question. If any of you have any insights on that, I think that would be a good time.
Yeah, so from my perspective, I believe that there has been quite an influx of speculating traders in the intraday markets in the last years. And those auctions are attractive for people speculating in the intraday market. So I don't think it will lead to a decrease of speculative trading behavior. And I believe that speculative trading is very welcome in the market.
Yeah,
I agree, and I wouldn't say it is a risk, it is an opportunity. You have for most of the products now not one or two references. That was, I don't know, day ahead and quarter early, for example. For Germany, you will have 3 reference prices. So I think traders are allowed to do in and outs and yeah, between that.
Thanks. Mathieu, I need to ask.
Yeah, my general take on I think speculative arbitrage or arbitrage in general, I think it has a well, in normal sense, it has a positive contribution to market development. So it is indeed traders benefiting from some long or short, some price arbitrage, some differences. They generally lead to more efficient markets. So I don't see it as such as a negative thing. Of course, talk about market manipulation, it's something different. But I think generally speculative traders indeed have a role in these markets as well.
Okay, I think that's a nice last sentence for our panel, and I would like to thank you, all of you, to participate in this panel. I think it was quite informative and insightful. So now we would go on with our agenda. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next, we would start our second part of the event, which is more about the practical preparation for the new market. And I would give the floor to Eivind Graversen, product manager at Volue, to give a presentation on how to leverage IDA. Thanks.
Yes, so I hope you all see my screen. If not, then shout out. So I will talk shortly about how we can leverage these intraday auctions. And up front, I would just say that Volue as a software provider, it's our ambition to connect assets to markets. So we have both optimization systems, which are used widely throughout Europe for all types of assets, from hydrothermal batteries and renewables. And we have trading solutions which are covering all the physical power markets. So the ahead auction and intraday auctions, which is the topic of today, but also the continuous intraday market through an algo trader, which is used by a large share of the volumes traded continuously, and for the balancing markets. So through this work, we have the possibility to work with a lot of market participants and also discuss with them how they want to leverage these new upcoming markets. So when we talk with them, I would say that we currently have 3 groups of feedback. So many of those I talk to have not completely planned how to leverage the IDAs. Some say that, yeah, but the continuous intraday market is working very well. Do we need it? And perhaps postpone it because it's not absolutely needed to participate from the beginning. So that's a large proportion. But then throughout the last months, we have seen much more market participants which are now in preparations and getting ready. And also because we don't know completely how it will pay out, but as also was noted by the traders in the panel discussion, there are some opportunities to participate in all the markets which are there. And I will go a little bit into how they want to leverage this in the next slides. And then, as I also said before in the panel discussion, there are smaller market participants not currently active in the intraday markets. I think it's also our goal to lower their threshold, so it should be easier for them to participate also in the continuous intraday market. It's not that complicated, but for some, it will be easier to start with the intraday auctions. And for them, I think they are also not completely aware of the possibilities and need to be made aware that this is a great opportunity for them. And I will also show a little bit how this can impact them. So in terms of those which want to leverage the new opportunities and are now looking into that, I think there are some clear reasons to leverage these IDAs. And that is, as we also saw in the previous slides, the cross-border volumes being allocated to this. So this will make it attractive to be in these auctions. And for everyone, I think it will be interesting because there will be different volume and prices, because hopefully there will be additional market participants in the IDAs compared to those in the continuous intraday. So that makes it a more interesting. And we have also some customers which want to leverage it because they have assets where they want to bid with blocks. And that is possible in the continuous intraday, but it's very unlikely that you would get a match. So it's not very liquid to bid blocks in the continuous intraday. But in the auction-based market, this is of course ideal. And so if you have some power plants with restrictions where you want to bid blocks, this could be beneficial. And one case is a customer that we are currently working with, which has power plant flexibilities that they trade in the continuous intraday. So these flexibilities are based on marginal costs on different assets, and they need to trade it based on the different assets. And they have asked us how they can efficiently and automated leverage the intraday auctions. And then one could think of a use case such as what is described below here. So you have an algo trader to the left, where you're also trading your based on a flexible asset portfolio. So you have some marginal cost-based strategies across your assets. And then close to the gate closure of the IDA, you then want to translate this position to curve orders for the IDA. So to offer this in a solution that can manage that, and preferably be able to translate this position automatically and offer it with the right control limits. And then you have the time you need to wait until the results of the IDA auction. And you can recalculate then your flexibility position and continue trading in the continuous intraday. So this is one case study that we are currently working on in terms of leveraging the IDAs. And then another case which is close to my heart is market participants not in the continuous intraday. So we are also currently working with a customer which has a smaller generation portfolio, and they have a lot of small-scale hydro. So small-scale hydro is not so easy to forecast. And being a smaller market participants, they are not in the continuous intraday today. And they approached us and said that they have significant imbalances based on this portfolio of small-scale hydro, and they asked us if we can improve the forecast of the hydro. And we are working to improve that with AI methods and the like. But when we looked at their core problem, we saw that the most significant improvement to their challenge, which was significant imbalance volumes, would be to trade closer to delivery. And obviously, they should ideally be in the continuous intraday, but they are not currently. And then it could be a smaller threshold to leverage the IDA 2 and IDA 3. So to state the obvious is that we have here the different auctions. We have the day ahead with the gate closure at 12. Utilizing the additional gate closures in the IDA 2 and IDA 3 at 10 o'clock in the evening and 10 o'clock in the morning will have a significant impact. And for this particular case that we are working on, we saw that on an asset base, if you look at the single assets and not aggregated portfolio, we could, just by utilizing these auctions and not improving their forecast methods, reduce their imbalance by 1/3. So I really hope that we can get smaller market participants to trade in the intraday by the introduction of these ideas. So to make this possible, we have a software solution, which I will just briefly describe. So we have auction bidding, which is covering the day-ahead auction and the intraday auctions, and EPEX, Nord Pool, and HUPX. And it covers all the order types, is provided with an API, and is a SaaS solution which is easily accessible for market participants. And important for most of our users is that we have a flexible portfolio concept that manages orders on sub-portfolio level. So to have the possibility to really build up your orders based on your asset portfolio or your third-party assets or customers, and then aggregate it to the total market portfolio level is what is important in an auction market. And for us, it's important to create a solution which allows to automate parts or whole of this bidding process. So at least automate the parts that you are comfortable with the right checks and balances on volumes and the right limits then. And our solutions are then developed such that they should be easy to integrate with the other solutions in a customer landscape. So this is focusing specifically on the auction markets, but this is developed also together with our continuous intraday algorithmic solutions. And for users of these solutions, it is developed with an API which is easy to integrate with, such that you can manage your trade portfolio and then really on all levels, and manage both curve orders and block orders and portfolio limits and other relevant time series that you want to use to create orders in these markets. And the solution is then coupled with the APIs of the exchanges, and the initial launch will be with the Nord Pool, EPEX, and HUPX. And I just want to share one part of this to give you a glimpse of it. So this is an overview of the auction part of this solution. So as I said, of course, you have the solutions from the exchanges, which allows you to manage your market portfolio on the market portfolio level. But typically, your order is built up based on some sub-portfolio part below the market portfolio. So in this example, it's based on plants, which could have generators, but this could also be a pool of assets, or it could be your retail portfolio or whatever. And then this solution offers the possibility to build up also on these lower levels your orders. So if you have a wind portfolio, that you would be able to read in the forecast and then create the orders based on this, and preferably with some price dependent bids to reflect how you want to position the given asset, and then to aggregate this portfolio to your market portfolio level and to send this into the market. So to end on a note related to what software solutions such as the Volues bring to this space, is that the aim is to really lower the threshold to participate and benefit from these markets. It should not be a hurdle to offer your asset portfolio in the IDAs or the continuous intraday, and with an emphasis to automate the physical trading possibilities, and to then be able to put you in the position to implement your best strategies to market both your imbalance position, but also your flexibilities if you have an asset portfolio of more complex assets with its restrictions. So if anyone have any interest in looking further into this, then it's just to contact me or any of my colleagues also after this webinar. And with this, I will give the floor back to you, Mathieu.
Thank you very much for this insightful presentation. And what is next is the technical preparation side led by our IDA project manager, Gabriela Juhász.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now? Can you see me? Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gabriela Juhász, and I'm working for market development at HUPX. And today we already heard many useful things about the IDA, the intraday auctions, but I would like to dive in a little bit more deeply into the IDA solution, in the architecture. I would like to share some features, how the IDA will be operated, about the products, also the daily routine, how the days will look like. Also concerning the trading parameters in the ETS and how you can submit the bids, how you will reach the results, and also what will happen in some extreme situations. And finally, I will give some information about the timing until the live. So I do not want to repeat the informations which been already shared, but let's emphasize the most important features of the IDA. So what is the IDA? The IDA is a coupled European-wide market. In the intraday auctions, the orders and the cross-border capacities will be allocated simultaneously. So we will use the same algorithm to allocate the cross-border capacities and the orders submitted by the members. We will use the same algorithm as we use on the day-ahead market. We will use the Euphemia for that. So this is the so-called implicit auction. And the capacities will be calculated based on NTC basis, and this will be also submitted to the auction algorithm. The intraday auction is the first market where we will connect the continuous market and the auction systems, as during the day, the capacities will be forwarded from the XBit from the continuous system to the auction systems, and the auction system will calculate with this capacity information. Also, in parallel with the capacity transmission, the market participants are requested to submit their bids to the NEMOS trading system, which will be forwarded by the NEMOS to the auction system. And whenever we receive both inputs, the cross-border capacities from the continuous market and the bids from the market participants, we will run the auction and calculate the results. And whenever we receive the results from the algorithm, we will send this back to the auction, from the auction system to the continuous system to the XBit system for validation. And in parallel, we will also publish these results as a preliminary results for the market participants. As soon as the XBit system, the continuous system confirms the results in terms of capacity meeting the network constraints, we will publish the results, or we will reconfirm the results as final. So this is the end of the IDA session, and we can then restart the cross-border capacity allocation in the continuous market. My colleagues and also Mathieu mentioned that we will have 3 IDAs, and for all IDAs we will have capacities. But it might happen that in some bidding zones we will have 50 minutes products, while on other bidding zones we will have 60 minutes products. So we elaborated a function which will allow cross-product matching on the borders. This means that 4 quarter-hourly bids can match against an hourly bids, and with that we can provide higher liquidity on the market. So we elaborated this function to increase the liquidity. Also, it was already detailed that during the daily routine, the intraday continuous market will be stopped. Not the whole market operation, but the cross-border capacity allocation. This means that 20 minutes before the gate closure time of each and every IDA session, the cross-border capacity allocation will be stopped in the continuous market in the XBit system. The cross-border capacities will be sent to the auction system, and 20 minutes after the IDA session gate closure time, the capacities, the remaining capacities from IDA will be released in the continuous system. So during the IDA sessions in the continuous system, only local market will be available. This means that, for example, in case of Hungary, Hungarian orders can match against Hungarian orders, but market participants in Hungary cannot see orders abroad. But in M7, you can submit orders to the regular XBit products, so XBit hour power and XBit quarter hour power. So there is no need to switch to the local products. The system will stop the capacity allocation, and that's all what you will see there. For day-ahead members, the trading system will be quite well known, as we will use the ETS trading system, the same as we use on the day-ahead market. And also the market will be serviced by HUPX. So concerning the daily operation, there won't be such a big change. What is new, what my colleague already mentioned, is that with the go live of IDA, we will have API connection as well. So you can use this as bid submission option. With the go live in Hungary and in the surrounding bidding zones, 50 minutes product will be available. These are the green market areas, also with 15 minutes cross-border capacity allocation. While in some other countries, the 60 minutes product will still be available, like in Italy or Spain, and in France, the 30 minutes product will be available. But a year later, in 2025, we plan to switch everywhere to 50 minutes products. The daily routine is quite complex, but we already mentioned that there will be cross-border capacity allocation stop in the continuous market. During this 20 plus 20 minutes, we will forward the capacity information from the exhibit to the continuous system. 15 minutes earlier or before the gate closure time of each and every IDA session, we will publish the available cross-border capacity for market participants. So based on this information, you can start submitting your bids to the trading systems. TSOs will be allowed to refresh the capacity information 5 minutes before the gate closure time. And then at gate closure time, the NEMOs will submit all the cross-zone capacity information and the received bids from the market participants to the auction algorithm. Then we will start the result calculation, and 7.5 minutes later, we plan to publish the preliminary results. So this is the time, the first time when you will receive result information, but please note that these are still preliminary results. We send this back to the exhibit system for validation, and 20 minutes after the gate closure time, this will be confirmed and published as final results. The trading parameters in the ETS in the trading system will be quite similar than on the day-ahead market, except of some differences. The first and most important is what we already know is that we will have 3 auctions per day or year-round. The tradable product will be 50 minutes. So on day-ahead we have 60 minutes, while on the IDA we will have 15 minutes. And also the maximum minimum prices will be different. Here we will have minus 9,999 and plus 9,999. If you're interested about more details, just please go to the HUPX website. The product specification is already available, so you can check all the details there. Concerning the bid submission, you have 2 options. You can either use the API. If you're interested, you can contact the membership department. You will receive a more detailed package how you shall implement the API, or you can use the front end, the ETS, like on the day-ahead market. For all the members, by default, 2 users and 2 portfolios will be allocated. And with these 2 users, each and every members will have access to the day-ahead and IDA platform if they are admitted to these markets. The members can request trader or read-only users, and I also put here the information that the HUPX physical delivery is not possible on IDA. It's available only on the day-ahead market, just to clarify this question as well. So whenever we have the results, this will be published in the ETS, like on the day-ahead market, 7.5 minutes later on the gate closure time of the IDA session, as a preliminary, and 20 minutes later, we will have the final results. I would like to highlight that this timing is still preliminary, as we are still in the testing phase, and this will be confirmed slide before the go live, whether these are the final timings or whether we shall adjust this a little bit. Also, the results will be available on our homepage. The preliminary and final results will be available. And after the auctions, you can find the regular reports on our SFTP separated for IDA. So you will have member level reports, trading data, block data, and also the market level reports like on the day ahead market. And in case of extreme cases, we will inform you always by email. Also on the webpage, you will find some notice. So, for example, if the day-ahead market cannot provide results 10 minutes past 2, then we will cancel the IDA auction. This is the same in case we cannot provide results 27 minutes after the gate closure time of each and every IDA. In case there is a NEMO which encounters serious problem, then we will decouple. Most of the European NEMOs will do the same. This is due to the time pressure. So during the IDA, the time is very short to provide results, and we have no time to reopen the order books to allow our market participants to adjust their bids, to modify the orders, taking into account the new market situation. So that's why we decided to decouple for such kind of unexpected cases. For these situations, no shadow auction is available because after the IDA, the remaining capacities will be sent back to the continuous market and the trading can continue on that market area. And finally, in case we experience serious issues around the go live, it might happen that we suspend the whole IDA. In this case, you will find the market message in the ETS that this is in idle mode. And also in this case, we will inform you via mail that the whole IDA is suspended for a time period. In this unfortunate case, the continuous market will be available for trading. And finally, some information about the timeline. So the go live is planned for 13th of June, so it's quite soon. But by that time, we have several workshops which we organize to share more information. In 2 weeks, we will have a very technical workshop about the trading system and about the API organized locally for the Hungarian market. Also next week, we have a European-wide IDA pre-launch event. And what is also quite important, that you will have the possibility to test the system in April. From 15th of April, we will have the member testing period with different scenarios. So we would like to request you to participate and learn the market features. This was all from my side, and I would like to ask my colleague from membership to provide you more information about the admission.
Thank you, Gabi. Share my screen just in a minute. I hope you can see it now. So start from the beginning. As you can see, there will be different procedures based on what is your company's current status at HUPX. So for those companies who are not members on the HUPX day-ahead market, there will be an entire admission procedure to go through. It means that, first of all, these companies have to fulfill the preconditions of joining HUPX, such as obtaining the trading license, signing the balancing group agreement with Mavir, and of course the registration at ECC, and all of the traders have to pass the HUPX trader exam. Besides that, a whole admission package will be sent for these companies, and all the different forms and agreements have to be signed and sent back to us. By contrast, for the existing HUPX day-ahead market members, there will be a simple extension procedure. It means that to start with, at ECC, this extension will be automatic from the day-ahead market for the intraday auction market, so no forms will be required and no other actions will be required by the partner. At HUPX, only one document will be sent for the HUPX day-ahead market members, pre-filled by HUPX. So this document will contain the existing day-ahead market portfolios, users, and traders. And
within some minutes with some ticks, the partner can finalize the extension and send us back the document. Of course, if the partner would like to make little changes, such as registering new users or traders, it's also possible. But in this case, I would advise to contact us and we can help you with the documents, because further ones can be requested and further fees can arise. As you may see, these new forms and documents are available from today. So now let's see the roadmap of the extension. To start with, you can see the dates and the stages of the extension for those members who indicated their interest before. So on the 21st of March, we will send out for these companies all the pre-filled annexes, what we have mentioned before. And the deadline of sending back these documents is 28th of March. HUPX will start the extension procedure internally, so the technical setups on the 2nd of April, and we will finalize all the extensions by the 8th of April. This timeline is really important because, as Gabi mentioned, the member test will start on the 15th of April, so we will like to finalize all the extension in time. Of course, we will manage the extensions of those companies as well who haven't indicated their interest before. But for these companies, we will send out the pre-filled annexes from the 25th of March continuously. And we can say that these companies will be also registered for the Intraday Auction Market before the go live. What I would like to mention is the HUPX fee schedule, because it's under approval, but I can say one thing, and it's the founding member discount. It means that all the members can make the extension at a start at the minimum cost, but further details will be communicated for the members once the approval is done. And one last thing is that the HUPX membership team would like to make the admissions and the extensions as smooth as possible. So we would like to ask you to contact us in case of any questions. And of course, we will also contact our partners, and we will like to organize meetings or calls in this topic, and also to help everyone with the documentation and with the questions. So for now, I think I'm done, and thank you for your attention, and keep in touch.
Thank you very much. And for our remaining agenda, before we're going to our remaining agenda, I would ask my colleagues to again put 2 questions on your screen, and we hope that we won't lose your attention. And in the meantime, I'm also asking György, head of department at Mavir, to share his screen and join us in our discussion and start the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to share the screen in the meantime. Hopefully you will see it now. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. First of all, I would like to advertise a little bit the core consultative group meeting, which is in parallel with this session. And I'm going to use those slides that were presented earlier in the morning in this core consultative group meeting, where you can hear all the important news from the core TSOs, and also with regards to intraday capacity calculation, which will be the focus of this presentation as well. As you may know, the intraday capacity calculation methodology was approved or soon to be approved by ACER. And we're going to have those details available soon. But according to the current knowledge, we already know that there will be 5 recalculation of capacity in the intraday time frame. 3 will be connected to IDAs, IDA 1, 2, and 3, and there will be 2 more recalculation for continuous trading. It will be on the delivery day 4 a.m. and 4 p.m., obviously for the rest of the day. You can see these details in the first or the upper table. And also important information when these changes can be implemented and these recalculated capacities can be offered to the market. The IDCC A and B, this is how we label these processes, namely the D-1 recalculations at 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. These will be implemented according to the current plans in May this year, obviously. This is in the precondition. I mean, the precondition is that we will receive the CCM decision in time and there will be no surprise, which is the current expectation. In case this isn't going to happen, the capacities, the actual capacities, especially for the early gate opening, which means that in the contrary to the current setup, we will provide the cross-zonal capacities at 15:0, 3 p.m. To the markets once the IDAs will launched as well. So this means that these capacities will be only available at the IDA go live, not the IDCC go live. This is how we could set up the processes and manage these go lives. So this is an important aspect that you will only, I mean, although we will launch the IDCC process a little bit earlier, the capacities for the afternoon session will only be available as of the IDA go live. The further recalculations, which will be done on the delivery day, these will be implemented later, and these are connected to either the IDCC implementation phases or the so-called CROSA, which is the security assessment of the TSOs, that process. So the implementation of that process, these are the big milestones that will give us the actual implementation date at the latest stage. What kind of capacities will you see for the IDCCA, which is the afternoon capacity provision as of IDA go live? You will see capacities other than 0, with a disclaimer that on the Austrian border, for a dedicated time, you will still see zeros due to the fact that APG announced that they would like to implement some additional IT features, which is ongoing, but most probably will not be ready for IDA go live. So these will be implemented in a later stage, and you will provide, APG will provide these non-zero capacities at the later stage. On the other borders, you can see, I highlighted the Hungarian borders, that the capacities will be non-zero, but due to the fact that this is the leftover capacity of the day ahead, we foresee that these capacities will be rather limited compared to recalculated version. Generally, the export directions are obviously higher available capacities. There are higher available capacities and less zeros compared to the import directions, but the main conclusion is that you will have at least some capacities available for the afternoon trading as well. With regards to the first recalculation, flow-based recalculation, you can also see this similar table, similar graph, where we show the zero or negative capacities that are available for the market and the frequency. I haven't highlighted the Hungarian borders, but the order is the same. So here is the Austrian, Hungarian, Croatian, and all the export directions, and then Romanian and Slovakian import directions. You can see that the frequency is significantly lower compared to the afternoon session. This is due to the recalculation itself. And generally on core level, the frequency is also lower in terms of non-positive ATCs compared to the current setup where we provide the leftovers. How big are those capacities? These are the mean positive ATCs of these borders, and the blue represents the current capacities, basically the historical versions, and the red bar represents the recalculated capacities based on the parallel run results. Regarding the Hungarian borders, again, there are no huge differences, I would say. You can see that slight increase on the Austrian-Hungarian border, slight decrease on the Croatian-Hungarian borders. On the Romanian-Hungarian, there's rather an visible decrease, and also some decrease on the Slovakian-Hungarian, while the export directions are rather changing. So some are increasing and some are decreasing. On core level, there are bigger, let's say, changes that can be seen. Huge or rather significant decrease on the German borders, Austrian, French, Netherlands, and also the Belgian French border. There are some significant decreases compared to the current setup. On the other hand, there are also borders that will be increased. There will be increased capacities available, for example, the Belgian Dutch and yeah, some other borders, Polish, Slovakian, for example. So these are the results that I wanted to share with you and present today. Obviously, the core consultative group meeting, there is a more comprehensive slide deck. So in case you have not registered yet, I advise you to do so. So that you can receive those information and those slides. And in case you have the opportunity, also also attend next time there as well. Thank you very much. And in case you have any questions, I'm going to be here to answer those.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And last but not least, I would give the floor to Katarina from ACER today to give her presentation. Thanks.
One moment. So can you hear me? Just a short. Okay, I start. Hello and welcome also to this Pan IDA introduction from ECC. My name is Katharina Grundmann, and I would like to introduce you the main and most important topics from ECC. As we are nearly at the end of our workshop time today, I would like to skip the background and scope. I think we heard that a lot now. We have 3 IDAs, which will take place each delivery day. Here at ECC, we are also very busy with the IDA project and its implementation, but we will apply our standard power spot clearing and settlement processes for the risk management, financial and physical settlement. So nothing changes here for our members. The nominated delivery positions are also summarized in the already existing SMSS delivery report summary and are tradable in the online view of the ECC member area. The values of all transactions concluded are netted into one payment trading participant or clearing member, as we have this right now, on every ECC business day, and the booking card also stays the same at 4 p.m. Payment group is, can you see, euro 1,600. Also good news for the margining side, the exposures from transactions in the IDAs will be included in the time series of exposures used for daily calculation of its initial margin spot margin, and will also be included in the current exposures. The exposures will be netted with exposures from all other spot market transactions. And trading limits, we are using the respective existing limit definitions. For HUPX, we have HUPX auction euro. So also here, we do not have big changes for our members and clearing members. We have 3 new product groups with the introduction of the Pan IDAs. We have HUPX IDA 123 Power at Mavia. If you have a question here, feel free to ask. And now the very important topic is the member admission, as you already heard from HUPX side. All existing HUPX Day Ahead members will receive automatic assignments to Pan IDAs unless they reject until 17th of May 2024. You see here the email addresses you might send your rejection. It's membership@hupex.hu and memberreadiness@ecc.de. After the 17th of May, all members that have the Day Ahead auction admission will be admitted for the Pan IDAs. The ECC TP forms will be published on ECC website together with the publication of the clearing circular in the coming week. We are working on it, and the publication will be beginning of next week here. As soon as the new TP forms are published, our clients can apply for the Pan IDAs. New members who only want to register for IDA only or newly for Day Ahead or Intraday must provide the TP forms until the 17th of May 2024 to our member readiness department, memberreadiness@ecc.de, to be ordered in order to be considered as in go live. All other requests, well, will have to be dealt with on best effort basis. Our colleagues are quite busy here, and we do our best. Also good news on the clearing fee. The Power Intraday auction will have the same clearing fee as the already existing intraday products. It's 0.035 euro per megawatt hour. So this was very short and the most important information from our point from ECC. Feel free with your questions here.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And I think we already covered all the questions included on the Q&A section. My colleagues, and I'm thanking all my colleagues who participated in answering those questions. And to be honest, I was quite unsure whether we can finish our session at the 2-hour limit, but I think we finally did. And for that, I'm thanking all the market participants who attended this meeting. I hope it gave you a good overview on the new market segment we are trying to launch in June. And of course, I'm really grateful, and as HUPX, we are really grateful for all the presenters who took on their time and presented their part of this huge project. As a follow-up, we will send you all the presentations and the recordings of this webinar. You will be able to find also on our website. And of course, the registration for the already mentioned HUPX technical webinar taking place on 27th of March. We'll start tomorrow, and we will also send you the link for that. So finally, thank you again, all you could participate, and meet you next time. And wishing you all a successful go live for the Intraday Auctions Market. Goodbye.